Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Timor Talks show. In this edition, we will cover Week 8 as a whole, as far as match reports and meta analysis are concerned, as well as focus more on the central topic of this week's show in particular, of the KC Cup that just happened over the last week. I'm Hazy, the host of this week. Most of you know me as the head referee of Timors, and hopefully we'll have a great time together. This week, especially, we have gotten not just mostly players that have won their match in week 8, but also people that have topped the KC Cup, specifically top 100 or better. So let's see some of the people that did top. Let's start with Drizzels.
Hi guys, I'm Drizzels. I'm actually the leader of Diffusion, and in the KC Cup that finished yesterday, I ended most likely on place 61 global.
That's really good to hear. 61 global with Cyber Dragons, I assume, right?
Yeah, I played Cyber Dragon for the majority of the event and played around 500 games, what was quite a lot.
I see. What about you, Tenma?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And well, I finished the last update. I was 73rd, around 66k. But I'm not sure how much I will land. Like maybe around 80 or the low 70, depending on the bands. But we'll talk about that later, I assume.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Son? I thought from what I recall, I thought you top 5 or something like that. This KC Cup.
Yeah, I didn't end on the fifth place exactly, but I ended on the sixth place. And most of the people here should know me as Dr. Robotnik, but my in-game name is most likely Suhnrysanti. For people who maybe wondered about that or wasn't sure about it.
Good to know then. What about you, McMurphy? What place did you end on?
Hi everyone. So for this KC Cup, I ended at 68k. So at last 30 minutes, I was top 25, I think. But with the bans, maybe better, but doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, still a pretty good place there. What about you, Raw?
Yeah, hello guys. I ended last update. I was 14th place, so close to top 10, and yeah.
Quite unfortunate that you didn't get to make top 10, but there's always the next one, right?
Exactly.
What about you, Sniffus?
So I ended at 65k, which is early top 100. I was 91st the last update. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fairly decent. Like more decent than a lot of the player base that almost never plays KC Cup due to how unrewarding the rewards feel, or just the time investment isn't worth it. But you guys just proved that over and over. You're more than competitive and able to show what you got. Speaking of what you got, we have some match reports for you to analyze. We have Abusement Park versus Smogon Duel Links to start off. So sadly for Abusement Park, it was a loss, but the duel, from what we can see, was fairly one-sided on two separate occasions. Smogon Duel Links leading pretty heavily with Karakuri's restart, a double pairing in fact, and then Lamp and ASAP trying to take back the duel. Can you tell us more about what happened in that particular match, Tenma?
Yeah, it was a really difficult match for us because it started downhill with this Karakuri streak that we couldn't stop, and it just snowballed from there, unfortunately. And at one point we were 7-1, and our position for playoffs was really bad at the point because our RD would be so much lower than it is now. Thanks to Lamp and ASAP that brought it back. Otherwise, I think our chances for making playoffs would be really slim if that hadn't happened with an heavy loss here. But thankfully, Lamb and ASAP won 7 games, and the game ended 10-8, which of course it was terrible, but it could have been worse than
Yeah,
how it ended. Yeah.
that's for sure.
Mm.
Fourth place in the division currently, 4-4.
Yep.
Still with a really good RD, which is what keeps you guys pretty much ahead of all of the
Yeah.
other 4-4 teams.
Yeah, we have been repeating to ourselves that week 9 is our first week of playoffs, because starting from this point, they are all must wins for us.
And
But
speaking
if
of,
we win, we should make it.
yeah, exactly. The 2 last weeks were pretty rough for you guys, but as you said, you can just look forward from now on.
Mm. Yep, that's what we're doing.
Nice, good to hear. Okay, so the next match should be Bricks and Potatoes versus Neo. So again, not quite a one-sided affair we see, except if we are to look at Luke Tyler's and Sniffles' performances over there. Can you talk us through more about what happened in this particular match, Sniffles and Suhnrysanti?
So we kind of know that Neo is struggling this season, and they like to bring sort of off-meta decks, as we see here with like the Lunalight, the Weather Painters, the Cyber Dragon. So he intended to just bring in a bit more of a balanced lineup and played a bit more safe. Yeah, our starter went 0-2, so it was kind of dangerous at the start, but then we brought it back, and Luke and I streak, which was really cool. This is actually my highest team score that I ever got, so that felt pretty good.
Yeah, it looks certainly good for a player of your caliber, right? It's pretty good that you did go 5-2, I believe.
Yeah, 5-2.
Instead of the usual, I don't know, 2-2.
The usual is 0-2 for me, so that really got bad. Yeah.
Yeah, people can maybe say that you're the blood sacrifice, right, for Gift or
Yes.
Andy to streak. But in this
Terrible
instance, in
sacrifice.
particular, Perozo was.
Yeah.
Sun, I see you weren't present, I think, in the roster, but were you
No.
present in the match or not at all?
I was present in the call and was watching most of the games.
I see. Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
probably
he
not
was
much to
the
add.
emotional support.
Yeah, I would say I'm the mascot here because like whenever I play a Team Wars game besides one, I go 0-2 as well. So I was preparing the bad hands or taking Gift's bad hand so he can go 8 or 6-2, no 6-1, 6-7-1. I don't remember exactly.
Well, maybe
But yeah.
next week we'll get to see someone else being the sacrifice and have you streak. Not quite sure who's your next opponent, but we'll see about that. I think Divine.
Yeah, Divine.
Yeah, it is Divine.
It's gonna be a little hard with Victor Lee on their side, but we'll see
sure,
what
yeah.
you guys can do.
We bought the book, so we're prepared.
Knowledge is half the battle, right? All right, let's go to the next duel over there, which is Diffusion versus the Immortals. And already, yet again, quite a one-sided affair. Drizzles, can you talk us through a bit through this match? Even though you weren't playing a single duel, you were still on the lineup. So can you guide us through what Chuchu and Lorenzo did?
Yeah, it was kind of surprising and chilled at the same time. Like normally we are all in voice chat and doing everything together, but Chuchu played on his own. So basically we had the whole team in the voice chat just watching what Gonzalo did, and he played for his own, and yeah, for some reason he won every game. He played especially the SSI Crystron, he played very well. He won mirror matches, he won against counter picks from Shiranui even with repeats. And yeah, what I remember in particular is he had crazy games with Invoked Magician Girls. I think he had 2 games where he sacked his opponent with Trap Stun into Econ Take.
Oof.
And yeah, and that happened like twice in a row.
That sounds really rough.
Yeah, and then finally after he went 7-2, he lost to a Karakuri, and then we just said like, I don't know, SSA Crystron worked so well. our opponents are making some minor mistakes against Crystron, we're just gonna send the next Crystron, and that worked well. So Lorenzo could close it out.
Yeah, we can tell 8 wins with SSA Crucians just from this match alone. And Chucho, I believe he's not a player that plays often for you guys, right?
Yeah, normally not in the normal season. For example, last
Hi.
season he only played once, I think, and went 0-2. But this season he's playing a lot more and is a really big factor. And he played really good in the playoffs last season as well, where we managed to win. I think he even played one of the games. I think it was the top 4 game where he went, I think, 6-2 or 7-2 as well and carried us.
Yeah, that sounds really good. We do all know that he was an integral part of your success in the season that you won, and hopefully, you continue to do that. I think you're top 2 in the division right now, 5-3.
Yeah, we are second place behind rookies. It's been a bit of a weird season. We're doing normally, I would say, pretty good. Having two hard losses, mainly due to disconnects against rookies and against Garuda, that was a bit unfortunate. But still, we are looking to win the next 2 weeks, and then we're gonna make playoffs for 100%.
Yeah, that's a good attitude to have if you want to win everything yet again, like second season in a row, right?
Yeah, of course we have the highest ambitions, but yeah, at first we want to make playoffs, and then yeah, we're just looking from match to match and what our opponent is.
Let's go over to the next match report then. We'll have Forbidden Memories versus Infinity. So again, we're seeing SSA Christians and even Heroes getting most of the wins against Infinity for that particular week. And McMurphy was an integral part of it, having gotten 5 wins and 1 loss before finally being destroyed, sadly, by the time limit loss. Can you talk us a bit more through what happened in this match for you guys to go 10-3?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a one-sided match for us. Unfortunately for Infinity, but I think I started Dark Magician and with full combo twice in a row, so that really helped me. I was able to take the win vs hero deck, which is kind of difficult normally for Dark Magician. And then I striked a bit with Crystron's. I eventually time lost vs Weather Painters because actually I didn't quite know really well the matchup, and it was quite difficult for me. But yeah, and then after that we striked with Hero, which can always strike. There's some decks like that. Hero, Cyber Dragon, which can, when you open full combo every time, it's really difficult to counter. So and finally we ended with a win with a invoked
Magician.
yeah. So yeah, pretty good match for us, and we're looking for the next weeks.
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, right, about the Weather Painter matchup, they did have to repeat it. So that was at least
Yeah, because I think I
least.
was quite lucky with the first one. I was second and OTK him by. I had everything to OTK him, but I realized, and especially in the KC Cup, that the matchup is really difficult for Christian. So I don't think I time lost, but I don't think I could have won this one.
Yeah, and speaking of winning, right, it was a 10-3 match, and that only bolsters your RD even further, putting it down to a 23 RD, and still keeping your first place inside the division, a division which is really hard for a team to really make playoffs, because, right, we have Forbidden Memory 7-1, we then have Tier 0 6-2, but then we also have on the third place BZ, which is also 6-2. And then on the fourth place, there's Lost Tribe with 5-3. So all more than playoff contenders, right?
Mm.
So it's
I didn't make the math correctly, but I think we might be safe if we win the next match. But it's true that it's really a close division.
Indeed. At the very least, I think you guys secure the playoffs spot for sure. 7-1, or rather, X and 3 is for sure a place inside the playoffs.
Nice.
All right, let's go to the next one then. We'll have Sun Clan versus Duel Links Taiwan. So Raw again, Stray King. Raw with 2 wins from SSA Krishan and 4 from Gokis. Can you tell us more about your lineup for this week as far as Gokis are concerned?
Yeah, okay. We tested really a lot with Sanklan, so the guys are really active. We had like a session before that, like the 3 days before, we had to test like 6 hours per day. And if you see like the what streaks is always you see like Karakuri. That's most of the time. And I supposed to play first the Magician Girls to counter them, but I was like not sure because I don't feel that safe. So I said like, let me play a Goki for that because I have 2 TTH, I have Liberty at last in this deck, I have Needle Sealing, I just have the deck cards for those matchups, and I feel really safe against those. And yes, luckily it worked out for us with the Goki, and I was happy because we started like 2-2, then it was 2-4 for them because Hag went 0-2, had unfortunately misplay with Dark Magician, which is really not good. But yeah, it is what it is. We did everything what we could do, and yes, the team did amazing job on the weekend. Yasa brought everything back, so he won the last 2. And yeah, it was great playing against Duel Links Taiwan.
Yeah, for sure, a really good team as proved by their last season performance, and that also put you on the 2nd place in yet another really hard division, with Destiny Draw being on the 6th place with 4-4. You wouldn't expect a team to be on the 6th place with a score of 4-4, right? And that puts you on the 2nd place, which is just 1 RD point behind Switcheroo, which is the top of the division. So can we expect to see maybe the same performances in the upcoming weeks?
I think our goal is defined. I'm not there because I wanted to play with some friends. I'm there because I wanted to win some titles. And we try the best what we can. We the first thing what I want to ensure that we not losing because of misplays. When we lose because we draw not good hands, I'm fine. But if we lose because of misplays, I'm getting angry, and the people maybe get angry as well. And yes, we dare to win, especially what happened season 3. We want to do this again because I wasn't there at season 3. So yeah, that's our situation.
Certainly a winner's attitude to always strive to be the best inside, not only in the division, but also just outright winning everything. All right, let's go to the, I believe, last one, which won't be presented by anyone aside from me. So I did stream this game, and to be honest, it was one of the best games that I've ever seen. It was fairly not really one-sided, but it was such a close game from start to finish. Every single game could have gone either way. We have seen Zaga streak with Ghost meets Girl Shernui in the first leg of the match, but then Blue Neos took it back with SSA Christians, beating, I believe, 3 Karakuri decks in a row, and then only losing to Shiras. And afterwards, BZ answered back with Karakuris. So yet another not entirely back and forth between only Karakuris, but as you can see towards the last leg of the match, SSA Krishan, Invoke Magician Girls, truly you had to be there because also the casting was incredible by Zen, Juked, and Davide. And it truly could have gone either way if only it wasn't, I believe, a really bricked hand from Nero at the exactly last duel, and it only further solidified BZ's place inside a really hard division, as mentioned earlier. They are wildcard contenders with 6-2. Let that sink in for a bit. All right. We can go now perhaps towards the meta-analysis and check some of the win rates that week 8 presented to us. So one thing that caught my eye when I first saw this was the Weather Painters actually being in the top 10 most used decks. And curiously enough, it as you guys may surely know, it should be pretty good against Shiranuis, but it had a 1-3 win rate against them. What would be the reason for that?
Well, I think it's only a good matchup if the Shiranui player doesn't know how to play against Weather Painters, because there's so many cards that are good against the Weather Painters, like Ballista Squad, the one of Cosmic Cyclone, and if they play the level 3, they have access to the level 7 Synchro, which is by itself really threatening. So I think they really need the Necro Valley to have a good chance against the Shiranui. Otherwise, I don't see it as a counter matchup.
Definitely agreeing with the Necro Valley point right there. Anyone else that would like to chime in, not only on the Weather Painters side, but also maybe Necro Valley in other decks? Maybe
I would maybe disagree a little bit with Murphy, because I think it's a bit too easy to say just because we went 1-3. It's not maybe a Shiranui counter. I think I saw at least two of those matches from was it Blauerjan from Smogon who played Weather Painters and went 0-2 or so. But yeah, if you don't open normal, and if you brick, you can lose, of course, against Shiranui, especially if you go second into a floodgate without having an immediately dodge as well. I think that happened last week as well, when Bricks and Potatoes played against Smogon and their Weather Painters didn't went amazing, even though it still has the counter matchup in my opinion, because with Sundry Canvas you can just bounce everything back.
definitely agreeing with the fact that it could be a good one-off deck to use, just like perhaps Gokis. Let's see on the next slide the Goki win rate. So it was played 10 times and it had a win rate of 70%, so winning 7 out of the 10 duels. You won 4 of them raw, I believe.
Yeah.
And how do you think its place in the meta is currently?
It's not for like best of 3. I would maybe not recommend it as it is, but Team Wars is another one. And if we just want to see like what do we do against Karakuri, because if you don't do something, they will trick against you. And there are like 2 options. Option number 1 is you bring a deck that is supposed to counter them, like you bring Lunar Light or Dragonity, but those matchup, what I don't like is that the decks are really bricky. I don't like. I like to beat Karakuri immediately with tech cards like Liberty at last. Even you can play Mirror Wall, TTH, and something like that. And this is perfectly fits in Goki, because you see like the Ballista over there. It makes you feel really good because you have that bounce, what you have like normal with Ballista, but then you have like a resource what you want to search. Like you can search the missing pieces like Cobra, Suprex, whatever. And this is winning you really good, even if they open like the God Hand. I tested this matchup and went like from 20, I won 19. So I said like I want to play this for Team Boss, and yes. But I think what I seen as well, especially when I watched the Tier 0, what I don't like is balance. I really don't like, because I just play the deck because of ETH and the Strapper, because that gives you back the TTH or makes the TTH alive, what you already have set. Just because of that, I just wanted to play it. But best of 3, don't like it. But for Team Wars format, if if this Karakuri is in the meta, I would definitely play it.
And it's not only good against Karakuri's, right? But also there's 3 Necro Valley, I believe, that are basically staples at this point. ETH bouncing, giving you back the traps that you need to perhaps recover from a losing position or even win more, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so
I don't play 3 Necro Valleys, so I only played 1 because I just wanted to win against Karakuri, because Necro Valley is not that perfect against Karakuri, especially if you go second, because then Gamma Oil is already gone in most of the cases. So I just rather have to counter immediately and put Karakuri out, and then the other matches I don't care. If I lose, I lose. I done my job against Karakuri, but I was lucky in that case. I won against Black Wings, which I really like because I play Floodgates as well. I was happy about that, but the first mission is to put this deck out, and what happens afterwards, I don't care. That's the team needs to have done.
yeah, exactly. That's the point of playing a Goki deck as a one-off, right, in your lineup to counter another deck, which in this case is Karakuri, which also happens to be the most played deck with 84 total matches without mirrors. 84, just 11 more than Shirnui, which in turn is 11 more than Evo Magician Girls. So certainly setting their place as the most played decks. And curiously enough, there is no deck that has had over 55% win rate this week. The closest that has been was Karakuri with just 0.2 shy of 55%. Anything else that you guys see on the current graphic that, for example, gets your curiosity?
I find it interesting that Karakuri is back on track, because I think last week it was around 50%, like 50 point something, and now it's winning a little bit more again. And Magician Girls is gained a bit, I think 10% compared to last
around
week.
10%.
Yeah, that's impressive. And considering also that Karakuri is strict too, so there's this thing that Magician Girls is thought to be the counter, and it did better, and Karakuri won as well, but much more than last week. So
Yeah, in Karakuris you can definitely trust as far as streaks are concerned, as we've seen from your match, sadly.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Maybe Dark Magician going 2-8 against Karakuri. Anything special over there?
I think that's normally expected, even though not every Karakuri is playing a lot of Cosmic Cyclone, but the matchup is not amazing. If you go second with Dark Magician, it's almost a loss. Almost every time. What I find a bit interesting, I'm not sure if it's the first week, but I think Blackwing is entirely gone. It's not even in the top 10 most played decks. Even decks like Goki or Cyber Dragon are more played than Blackwings.
Indeed. I just scroll now, and Blackwings did have less playtime than Weather Painter's Gokis. It's just double the play rate of Luna Lights, which is on 8 for Blackwings, and Blackwings only won 2 of those 8 games. Certainly going onto a downward spiral. Even like Luna Lights winning 1 out of 4 games. And speaking of Luna Lights, right, we have seen that this KC Cup in particular has brought some, let's say not less used decks, right, but some underrated, some rogue decks that are quite sacky. So for example, Dragoonities, we all know how they can be. Even Blackwings was a pretty good deck to rank up earlier in the KC Cup. Correct me if I'm wrong though. And lastly, Luna Lights, Invoke Luna Lights as well. What can you tell me about that, Sun? Or Sun? I don't know how to really pronounce it.
Suhnrysanti.
Yeah.
Soon?
You're far away, I think, Son. I think you're far
You
from me.
now better?
Yeah, now it's
Yeah, we
better.
hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I would say decks like that, especially Lunar Light, is maybe a deck some player are not that used to, so you can hit them by a surprise sometimes. And not just that, Lunar Light also has more back row hate, referring to the new added Diamond Direwolf. And the Rabbit into Diamond Direwolf combo is actually a real threat against back row decks. Like, you will probably out two back rows and eventually hit the Floodgate Trap Hole, so you can summon the big guy and maybe go for the OTK. Which is new, but which changed the deck a lot, in my opinion. These two back row pop instead of just one is huge, in my opinion. And yeah, referring to the Rook decks, we saw a not completely new deck, but a deck coming back to the meta was Desperado or Master of Destiny.
Yeah.
And which deck was really, really popular in KC Cup, especially around the top 100 region. I think it was maybe the third or fourth, probably fourth to fifth most used deck, or the deck I faced the most at what rating.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious to see why that was the case. Maybe someone else that could explain that, maybe Sniffus?
So I think Desperado is just like one of the only decks that can actually beat the Karakuri combo going second. And like what made the deck so popular now is that they use Super Team Body Force, which like, I don't know. It needs a machine on the field, and then you target it, and then you summon like the Barrel Dragon from the hand or the grave. So and there are so many machine decks right now, basically like Crystron and Karakuri. So they use that. They use Scrap Recycler. They send the Desperado so they can add something, and then they use the Trap. They summon the Desperado back. They use all the 3 coin flips and pop the entire board. Kind of like the point of the deck. Apparently, it also has a really good Cyber Dragon matchup because, again, for the same reason, they are also machines. So you just summon the dragon and then pop them. So it's pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, especially for Cyber Dragon, it's hard because if you pop the Super Team Buddy with like your Rampage or your Overflow, they just set the next one from the deck. They can't use it this turn, but next turn it's there again. So the time you really cycle through their 3 Super Team Buddy forces, it's really hard. And I think especially on the second day, Desperado was a really hard matchup for me in the KC Cup.
Yeah,
And then they
certainly.
have the most annoying card in the game, Ed Judging.
I hate it. I hate that card so much. I could go on a rant about that card, but they.
Yeah, it was difficult for Christians too when you didn't know the matchup versus Desperado. You could lose very easily with that trap super unit. But the deck had the advantage because you have synchros that are not machine monsters. So finally, eventually, you play around the trap with your synchro monsters. So it's a bit more easy to. It was a bit more easy to beat them.
And right, speaking of Christians as well, we have Karakuri, we have Christian, both SSA and without SSA, and we also have Cyber Dragons, Desperado no less. That's like 3 to 4 machine decks. Have you guys encountered any system down, either in your own deck or in another competitor's deck?
Yeah, actually quite some people main decked system down, especially on the last day.
Yes.
Yeah.
They played even Dark Magician Balance with system down in this, so they win against those matchups. Yes, even cards like Drowning were like huge for those events. It was like okay, they're not expected. They don't see any delays. They just swing, and then yes, they lose all their monsters, and they scoop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drowning was actually a card I used in Cyber Dragons, and I think it won, like no joke, it won 50 games out of the 500 I played or so, because people, they see an open field, they summon 3 big monsters, mainly control Shiranui, they just run like catless chicken, run into a drowning.
And speaking of system down, specifically Dark Magician, I think you guys know by now that the first place deck, I believe, was Dark Magician deck with the system down. But it's not that we care about the Dark Magician nor the system down in that particular case. So we have had a couple of small dramas in regards to this KC Cup in particular because of an APK. Raw, can you guide us through what all of this means?
Yeah, okay, about the drama. Yeah, I saw like what I seen today. Oh, okay, I have to start like at the beginning. Like at the end of the KC Cup, people was like accusing people of cheating, where I said like, okay, this is happening every time I just say this will become like 5 minutes and then they stop or something like that. But then I saw like actually a video where there was even a tutorial how to cheat in the KC Cup. Where I said like, okay, this is crazy. And then it makes even sense because you see like first place is playing like Dark Magician and you don't even know the guy and the guy hits 100k, what even on players like Grucius or Neg1 not even hitting. It was like, for me, everything was like suspicious. And then I see like how they cheat and stuff. It's kind of crazy. Especially it feels like a bit sad because I faced one of those accused cheaters the last duels I had, and I lost to him because he played like perfectly. Not even because of delay reading, just because he knew what my hand card was, and he just kept chilling and know what my hand card was. And yes, it's like that. I hope Konami is doing something like that because you're wasting like 72 hours of your life to play the KC Cup, to hope to go like what you call it, first place or top 10 for the icon. Nevertheless, if you see like those players and they stop, it's not fun because like in this scenario it will not change because maybe the first place or the other guy, the Blackwing, will get banned. But it's happened, for example, it would be just bad if the second player would get the third place. That would be like really sad because he's grinding up to them and he will not catch him up, but he will lose a rank. Then the third player will go to the second place and then win. I don't really like, because that would not happen in that scenario. Grucius would have chilled, and I hope the results coming out soon, and then we see like what is gonna happen, because I really hope the people got banned because of that, because this is not good.
Yeah, Grucius was forced to play at 5 a.m. in the morning, like last few games, trying to catch up to this post cheater, and I think that's just upsetting for everybody who competes in these events, and especially for somebody like Grucius, who's always one of the best players, and he just misses the mark for that little thing. And I think everybody wants him to go to Worlds, and if he had lost more DPs than he did, it would just be so sad. Thankfully, it didn't happen, as Rose said, but like I would be furious if that happened.
Yeah, what I can't even understand, why people like they cheated and they're kind of proud of it. Look what I achieved. I don't know what is that, because I was like first of the people that's not accusing somebody of cheating or something like that, but he posted his decklist. I said, no, this guy must be legit. But if the guy should really cheating the first place, I'm really disappointed, and I don't know how guys like him can watch themselves at the mirror because they are proud that they go first place with cheating. That's not fun. And people like Grucius, they deserve to go to Worlds. He's like trying every KC Cup on the top, second place and stuff. And he's losing because of that kind of cheaters is not fun. And I will talk to all cheaters, please don't do it. What you're trying to achieve, to be good in the community? No, you will never do this. don't do it. Let the people go towards who really deserve that, which is in Grucius in this case, and yes.
Yeah,
I think
certainly.
the most surprising thing is that this tool for cheating seems to be very old. I've seen like a year or two. So there's Casey Cup and cheaters, and I hope they got banned for what they do. But after that, what do we do? The thing, the tool is alive, and Konami doesn't seem to care. So I think it's a big concern for the community.
Son? Wait,
y-
Son, you're not talking? Son, can you hear us?
I think maybe something what Sun wanted to say is that you then never know what happened in the past. Like everything is suspicious now. You might have
Exactly.
I wanted to say something else, especially for the third place. Like some people were saying that he didn't wanted to upload the video before, just after he got, I don't know, whoever.
exposed, yeah.
But if you actually looked at his name for the first and second day, he always had in his name, yeah, I actually cheat, I'm a true cheater and stuff like that. So, like, if you really, really cheat and you want to hide it, you wouldn't do that. And especially because he made that video, I guess it was actually legit to show this kind of tool.
Yeah, I mean, what he basically
if
said.
there is no other way to show it, I mean, how would you like to prevent that?
Yeah. I mean, what he basically said, what was like in his opinion, his major mistake is basically telling his teammate, and then his teammate used the APK to actually get global first.
Yeah, but
And
like, what do you expect? Your team is known
Yeah,
for
that's the
being
thing. How blind can you be and expect people are not using it? Of course, but there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's-
even another thing about this is that he claims that he tries to make a point about these cheating tools. We have seen in the past, I think, just 1 year ago, I think in the November KC Cup of the last year, there was another guy that just used the same approach to cheat, get first place, and then, for example, force, quote unquote, Konami to fix their game. And as we've seen, that was in November, and this APK apparently appeared in January. So is this gonna ruin forever the competitive integrity? Because just after an APK gets fixed, another one appears.
I think we have to trust Konami at this point and hope they do fix it, and we can finally play this game like stress-free from the cheating perspective. Because I don't know, everything now seems so suspicious, and
I mean, you can't even really do anything about it, and it's even going that far for community tournaments, for team wars. Like, how can you prove that somebody is using an APK? Of course, if he disconnects, he's not losing points. That's not gonna happen in a normal room for team wars. But you never know if he snipes the correct card out of 3 with Cosmic. All of a sudden, people are gonna accuse people as cheaters, and you have no proof to like prove it right or wrong.
Mm.
well, hopefully Konami just addresses as soon as possible, and at least we will have this peace of mind. But I don't know. We have to wait. No, nothing to do, I guess.
so early
Yeah.
to see like what's possible, and without us ever knowing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea that this kind of cheat was still alive. I thought it was fixed like 1 year ago, and then it just reappeared. So, and it's been around for 9 months now.
Everybody thought it was fixed a year
Yeah.
or two ago, but
Yeah, after the 2018 RRQ.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently we were all wrong, because this tool is alive since more than a year, and I hope Konami wasn't aware of this, because if they were and did nothing, don't
Yeah,
know what to say.
it's a really sad topic for the community. Not only, as you all mentioned, that ruins the KC Cup and its integrity, and it's only for dumb reasons as well. Like the third place claiming that his first place buddy used that particular tool in a selfish way, but then the third place guy also used it in a selfish way. But not only in official events, but what also matters is these community events, right? Like Team Wars, like any tournament from Duel Links Meta or Duel Links Entertainment. It just proves that nothing is safe. Nothing is truly safe.
So I'm wondering, like, what's Team was going to do now? Are we going to go back to screenshot proof?
It's hard to tell, because all of these news came in like lightning, and we
It
haven't
is
had.
very sudden, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone has had any chance to discuss what we could really do. And yeah, as Zarex mentioned, not a topic to discuss there. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what not only us, but what the community as a whole can do and stand up against cheating.
Yeah, first I think we gotta wait for Konami to post their result, and maybe a message or something about cheating. But then we'll have to ask ourselves how can we address Konami how concerned, because it cannot go that way any longer. I think it's unacceptable to play a game where we all many people spend money in it. We spend our weekends, and nobody can achieve 100K. It's sad.
Yeah, a lot of time and energy is always invested in the KC Cup Stage 2, and these cheaters just don't really invest anything, so to say. They just let the tool play for itself for their account. And this KC Cup in particular, right, we have had not just one person, but potentially way more people. And said APK also like people have it now. Like you can really not trust anyone.
No. And I mean, especially at this point of the game or of the community, where people are playing competitive for quite a while now, you have all the teams who are connected under each other. If there are people at the top at a KC Cup at whatever day, you know who they are, and even in the end, you know who topped and who didn't. And if there are any new names, no names, of course you can get lucky and streak a lot, but making 100K, 90K, or even 80K out of nowhere is really, really hard. And that's what made everything so suspicious at the start. I mean, at day 3, we even had the guy from Europe nobody knew, and at a certain point he was at 98K being global first, and nobody had any idea who it is. And there was like a random account on DLM who was not getting used a lot. And even then people started asking questions like who he is and is this all legit? And in the end he dropped 35K, and at 65K, I think he finished like Europe 9s and just a bit out of top 100 global. But even there, if people are not well known in the community and they do well out of a sudden, it's really, really strange.
Yeah, that sounds like Sniffer said it like in the beginning. Even there was like nobody accused Sniffer said immediately. No, I think this is not because we don't know the player. The player played Dark Magician. Like, what is the odds stack? This is happening. Like,
I just go off what's most likely to have happened. That a completely new player just destroys KC Cup and gets 105,000 points. No, it's obviously something must be fishy.
Yes. And you have to see, like, I know all the community good because I know the players who's competitive, who may be less competitive. And this guy was actually crazy because he was not known in the community. He played Dark Magician, and what for me like was like the thing. He has like 3 OGs, so there must be a really old account to have like if you have like 3 OG Dark Magician, which I don't even have, because there was like you have to play really back in the day to have those cards. And if you really have like those cards, like 3 OGs Dark Magician and 3 OG Blue Eyes or something like that, you have to be in specific point. You have to be known in the community to have those points happening. And this is a new player who like came out of nowhere. So I don't think this is happening.
And for all we know, it cannot even be his own account, right? It could be bots, like against the terms of service.
Exactly. I don't want to accuse him for like cheating for tool, something like that. I saw that from the Blackwing Pog guy. I saw him like that. But the first place needs maybe an other way around. Needs maybe his account, but something is going on there from the first place. That I can tell. I don't know what, but there is something not going. There's something going wrong.
Yeah, and I'd like us to maybe steer away from this cheating topic, right? And maybe have a look at what decks you used throughout this KC Cup, separating them by like days. Like on day 1, I used, speaking in a personal manner, right? I used Control Suhnry on day 1, got to like 15k and just quit right there. On day 2, I lost a lot, and I then also win streaked with Invoked Magician Girls up to 20k. And then on day 3, because I still wanted more, even though I was quite satisfied with just 20k, I just wanted 2 Prisma SRs, for example. I kept playing more and tilted down a bit, but still climbed up to 20k. So maybe let's take it in order as well, starting from the Cyber Dragon Master himself, Drizzels.
Okay, yeah, I started actually on Friday morning. At first I overslept and I thought it's starting at 7 a.m. German time, and it started 1 hour earlier. So I was a bit surprised when I wake up and started, but yeah, it happens. I played Megalith and Witchcrafter for the first points, just because it's not super tryhard at the start. You just want to have a bit of fun and get basically into the KC Cup, see what meta is going on. And I think at around 25-30k, I went away from those 2 decks and I started playing Cyber Dragon. And yeah, then from basically Friday afternoon till Monday morning, I played Cyber Dragon. In total 530 games. I think I finished on 35k at the end of Friday. I finished 50k end of Saturday, and then 66k at the end of Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. So certainly dedicated to the Cyber Dragon lifestyle. What about
I tried
you,
my...
Tema, after Drizzles is done?
Yeah, just one last sentence. Like I tried my best to get into the top 10 global, and it didn't work out in the end. But I know why, and I'm responsible for the mistakes I made myself. But yeah, I'm still a bit sad, especially with those cheaters going around. And like you never know if certain people wouldn't be there, the gap is maybe closer, and then maybe people are more motivated to catch up like 3 or 5k points instead of when people are like 20k away from the goal you want to achieve.
Yeah, for sure. There's always a next time, but hopefully next time we won't have to deal with such APKs. And speaking of APKs, what about you, Terma?
Well, for me, this KC Cup was extremely important because it was the first time I could play like a decent amount of games compared to the last 5 KC Cups. So I wanted to prove to myself that I could still get top 100. So I knew I could play most of my games only on Friday, so I tried my hardest, and in fact I played something crazy like 220 games on Friday alone. And I ended the day with a little bit over 40k. And on Saturday and Sunday, I played just a few more games to get to 66. Like my win rate was pretty abysmal during the first on Friday actually, because of some of the Karakuri mirror. Because I started I started playing with Karakuri with from 0 to 20k. Then I switched to GMG Shira that brought me to 40k. And then again, the last stretch I did with Control Shiranui. And I went to up to 66k, which I thought it would be safe for top 100. I knew I didn't have enough time to get top 10 or better, but I just wanted to prove to myself that I could still get top 100, and I'm happy I was able to do it.
Yeah, certainly a good goal for yourself to put in a KC Cup.
Yeah, it was some. I saw it as some sort of training for RRQ. So yeah, I'll try to compete for that one.
Tema, one question. I have one question because you talk
Sure.
now about RRQ. Which reason are you competing, or because we talked before, you were like in different region. Which region you competing?
No, I moved to Spain last year. Well, a little bit all over last year now, but yeah, I will compete in Europe.
Yeah, that would be harder. Oh shit. Okay, that will be hard. One more competitor. Okay.
Well, adding people to his to defeat list.
I think I've played Raw during the KC Cup a lot of times. I was playing Gokis, I think, right? Or am I wrong?
No,
guys?
I don't. When my part is coming, I talk about that, but
Sure.
I tell why I'm not playing Goki. Yeah.
Okay. But there was some German guys that were playing Gokis at IDPs. I don't know who it was, but yeah, sorry. I'll let the other guys talk.
All right, then let's move on to Suhnrysanti then. How was your experience? You're muted, I think.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Is my mic? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah,
now
we
it's
can
good.
hear you. We can hear you now.
Or
Son? Now we
it's-
can't hear you anymore, Son.
Yeah.
If you hear anything,
Yeah, now it's working.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, now it should be better.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Still not?
No, it's working.
It's
It's
good.
working.
It's good.
So it's working again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it
Not
was
working.
no. Yeah, now it should work.
Yes.
Yeah, the KC Cup for me was pretty well at the end. I mean, at the beginning, I was also doing well. I went from 0 to 35k with Mega Leaf in about 75 win percentage. After that, it didn't go that well. I dropped to 30k, I think. Played Crystron after that to 40k for the end of day one. On Saturday, I had a really, really bad day. I went from that about 66% to 52 using decks like the first one was Control Shiranui, then Mega Leaf, and then Crystron for a few games. And after I dropped to 25, I just played Crystron to get back to 35 or 40k, but I couldn't get any further with that. So I finally changed to my last deck on Saturday evening, which is Invoke Magician Girls, and that got me to 83k, and so the 6th place global with a pretty high win rate, I would say, for that rating, probably about 60%, because I got up from 52 to 58. So I think it's around 60%.
Yeah, sounds really good as far as even the last day is concerned. I think Invoke Magician Girl wouldn't be a deck you would really see at the top, but considering that you had a pretty good win rate with it, seems like it was a pretty good deck to use as far as the late stage of the stage 2 is concerned.
I didn't have any really bad matchups besides Cyber Dragon. Like everything else, I was feeling I could win. The Dark Magician matchup was much easier with Magician Girls than back with E-Saber, or at least that's my opinion, or I feel like it was, because the Berry Magician isn't that easy to out if they don't have the Rotten Graveyard to make it miss the timing to activate the effect. When Shiranui was manageable with 3 Ballista, which could deal with the trap card, Carton, and also could deal with Necro Rally from Goki and MOD, but MOD itself was easy matchup due to them not having any out Cogitos or just really special outs. And versus Crystron, I was also doing well. I didn't expect to have like a 60% win rate against SSA, but the combo of Dire Wolf destroying the SSA and then go into the Ballista was winning many games, to be honest. Like they have a full board of level 5 monsters, and then I can just go into Purgatrio and kill them, so they can't get their second SSA up or search them.
Yeah, sounds like a really good game plan from Magician Girls. I do know myself. I don't really play a lot of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, but I do have the Magician Girls as well. Whaled specifically for the wolf. I don't think there's any better feeling than just going into the wolf after you normal summon the Alistair, popping something, also having the Ballista squad face down, and just going into either Purgatrio or Casitas. That's still pretty good to win.
And the best thing is that you shoot a back row with Dire Wolves, they have to chain the King's Chain, which isn't the targeted back row, and then the Ballista on the last one, which actually happened also a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to never detach the Alistair first, so I can pop up the Carton, or maybe with that Carton from decks like Combo Shionui, to destroy it, and they can't banish the Alistair, but have to banish anything else if they want to trigger anything from the grave.
All right,
which was also small but important detail about it.
Yeah, certainly something that you have to watch out for when playing Magician Girls. What about you, Murphy? How was your KC Cup experience throughout the 3 days?
It's more simple for me. I just played one deck, was SSA Crystron. So first day I got like 40k. Second one I struggled more, but I feel it's the same for many people. Day 2 is a bit complicated. So I reached like 50, then 40 again, and eventually day 3 I reached 68k on Sunday at 8 p.m. Europe time, and then I was very tired and work the next day, so I went to sleep, and because I felt top 100 was secured, and I didn't want to try to reach top 10. It was I think a bit complicated for me during the night, during the last night. Try to reach top 10. I needed like 10Ks and maybe more. So I realized that I didn't wanted to play last night, and went to sleep, and ended at 68.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that point right there. With us being Europeans, I think all 7 of us, we are quite disadvantaged as far as KC Cup time is concerned, because for me personally it ends at 7 a.m. right, but for most of you I believe it ends at 6 a.m. and you have to go to sleep, right? It's a Sunday night. On Monday you go to work. You cannot really afford to. And not only that, there's also the risk. Sorry, continue.
Playing Crystron at 4 a.m. during the night is a bit tricky. So,
yeah. And not only that, there's also the risk associated with going out for more than just top 100, especially on that Sunday night, as you mentioned. So it's fairly good that you did end up stopping whenever you wanted to, and not just wished for more, and maybe, who knows, could have gone either way. Either go towards top 10 and fulfill your goal, but also could have ended up much worse. You just know when to stop. All right then. How about you, Raw? How was your KC Cup experience?
My was kind of okay. I'm not satisfied with okay because the day before, like 10 hours before when I tested my decks on the Meta Weekly, I tested Weather Painter. It went 5-0, so in total went like 10-1. I didn't play top 32 because I had to go to bed to get good sleep before the KC Cup. Then when I started, it was like I made the same like Drizzels. I don't take it the first hour too serious. I play with heroes. It was really good actually. I went like in the first 4 hours, I went to 30k.
Oh.
But the problem I have, and this is happening all to me, are like two things. The first thing is like the range between 40 and 60. This is for me the absolutely worst. Like if I get this off, I would be happy. But this always I'm struggling into. Same as this time. And as well, of course, day two. Day two is for me like I don't know how, but I managed to even make minus points in day two. So I maybe have to skip next time Saturday. Maybe it's even better than for me. But yeah, it's something like that. I started with hero, and day two I made a mistake because I said I play with hero as well, but it was not a good choose from me because this is against just the Saki decks. Up on day two, it comes more in the meta decks. The people are more competitive. They play better decks. They play Christian and stuff. And I saw that I was like dropping really down. And then my option was like, should I play heroes or weather painters? I started first with weather painters, but I won even. I went like good with weather painters, but the problem about this deck is I won 4 duels and 4 hours are gone. I said like I can't go like that. And yes, then I said like, okay, I have to play duplication Christian was for me like then the best. So I took it like for the rest, and yeah, it's really good. But the thing right now, what I really like on the KC Cup is for me the best form of the competitive format, because you have to see like you have to play 500 or more games, and you have to be like really active. And if you have, for example, 5 oopsies which cost you the game, that means like in worst case you losing 10k, because which you could have won, you would have plus 1000. If you lose, there's a difference of 2000. And if you have 5 oopsies, that means in worst case you're losing like 10k. And this is a difference between like global first and top 10, or like either way from top 10 to top 100. And this is just 5 oopsies. I don't see anybody who says like, no, I didn't oopsie once or something like that in the KC Cup. This is not happening. There's always a oopsie in the thing involved. And yes, I have to practice this even more and more and more to get around that 0. But right now I see my mistakes. I have to improve that. 14th is okay, but next time I try again for the first place, and we see what's happening over there. And yes, I try my best.
Yeah, your experience does sound pretty intriguing, because you did mention that oopsie thing, right? When it can cost you games if you are not actively involved within the game. So KC Cup requires a lot of mental fortitude, not in just one game, but in all 500 or so games that you have to play.
Exactly.
And
Because
that puts a toll on people.
Yeah, what I just say is like exactly what you said. Like one game you always can like concentrate. This is not big of a deal. You can read like delays on one game. It's not a problem. But play 500 games and then read all the delays on the 500 games while it's like 4 a.m. for you. You just keep playing, especially like if you're in the losing streak. Like then it's getting even funnier, because like you're dead rage that you say like, Konami, why you don't give me the win? I'm losing to not a good player. Why you not giving me the win? It's something like that funny, which I have even to practice. And yes.
Yeah, and then you play like even more and more games in a row. We had a good friend on our Discord who was in voice, who was global first, and then lost 34 games in a row and went from like 80k, he went down to below 40k, and it was really sad to see that such things can happen. But yeah, what Raw said is just 100% true. I had the same on day 3. I made, I think, at least 10 or 15 mistakes. Game I could have 100% won, just threw them away with misplaying. And yeah, that's the difference between top 100 and top 10.
Yeah, really sad to hear when you do one mistake and then that mistake sticks with you, and yeah, you just keep misplaying just because of that. And that's when you have to be more active, more focused, and you guys managed to overcome that completely. And that's why you're top 100, right? Because you learn from your mistakes and made sure not to do it again. Let's move on to the last guest, Sniffus. How was your KC Cup experience this time around?
So the preparation was interesting. I talked a lot with Nagwan about the meta and what we expect. We tried really hard to find like some secret solution, because we saw in some Japanese tournaments that the meta was looking very widespread. Like everything is so close in representation. A lot of Sidra, a lot of Crystron, then GMG Shiro. There's also Dragoonity was also popular. So it was just really hard to figure something out. So I figured it would just be best to go with something I know, something I'm familiar with. So I did Crystron's level dupe. I used like basically the exact standard list everyone uses except 27 cards, and I cut the 3 lances, so it's just a bit more consistent. And because I didn't really like the meta too much, I just didn't play a lot. Like day 1, I ended on 72 games and 30,000 points. Day 2, I ended on 122 games and 45,000 points. So yeah, like usually most people have more than double that by that time. But I just wanted to take it a bit slower. And day 3, I did really well day 3. My win rate went up a lot, but I felt like stopping for top 100 just wouldn't make sense at this point. I have like 6 silver icons or something like that. So I just went all in, and I got to 69,000 or 70,000. I was like, oh, maybe this is doable if I just get a good streak now. But and right in the end, I lost 4 games in a row. Like I was 20th, the second to last update, and then I lost 4, and then dropped to 91st. So I was like, okay, maybe it is better to stop now. So I ended on 65,500 points, 175 duels, and 68% win rate.
So top 100 within only 170 or so games. That's really good.
Yeah, the win rate is really impressive. Congrats, Sniffus.
Yeah, big congratulations.
Yeah, Sniffus is always fine in those KC Cups. And yeah, he's doing always really making always good job, always representing Germany really good. So I'm really proud of Sniffus over there. He make a good job.
Thank you.
For sure, good to hear that. As for maybe let's take on to said underrated decks from earlier, right? We did mention Desperado a lot, especially in the last day, being a deck that really goes against Karakuris pretty well, as you guys mentioned. But were there other decks that, let's say, infuriated you? Let's start with Dragoonities. Who from here doesn't hate Dragoonities?
Me?
Did you use them?
No, but
yeah, SSA
for Chris
Christians.
Runley is it's not easy, but it's I think a good matchup, especially when you use level 6 in Zectron. You just put your level 3 tuner on the field, and they cannot do anything. And next turn you Quirion them, and it's kind of over. So.
So pretty much a free win.
Not a free win, but it's a good matchup, yeah.
Yeah, I took some time to learn that matchup, because there are some deceiving things, because Dragoonity basically lives off of fear, that you're afraid to push because you're afraid you don't want to trigger their skills because of sheer Kuribo, but you just have to push basically versus them. So then they make their push and try to kill you, but if you have like an impact or something to survive, then next turn you can push back, and because they're already pretty low on life points, they use their skill, it's really hard for them to make a second push, so at that point you win. So it is a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, and with cards like Brionek, you have a really good Ascalon out that is not floating into other Dragonity synchros.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for myself, Dragonity was actually a really horrible matchup because Cyber Dragon has an insanely hard time if there's a turn 1 Ascalon on the board, and then they play like a lot of Sphere Kuribus and cards like that. And yeah, if they Trunate OTK you going second, you're not gonna do anything. So I was really happy that I didn't saw a lot of Dragonity. I only faced 5 Dragonities on the last day, and I could only win 1 out of those 5 games. But yeah, the impact was not too huge because Dragonity is mainly a deck for the first day or the first 40-50k of the KC Cup.
Speaking of Cyber Dragon, though, I think that was the most infuriating deck. How do they always open core? It doesn't make sense mathematically. They always have it.
Yeah, I remember on the last day when I was trying to get my last K to be safe for, for to get to 60k for top 100, and I faced 3 Cyber Dragon in a row. Went first, summon core, set 3 with the full board, and I just couldn't do anything and just lost on this.
I think I actually was one of them. I played you at least
Yes.
once. I'm sorry. And I played Soon as well. Sadly, a lot of times. Good for me, not good for him. But yeah, that's how it goes.
And turn 2, they always have offering to
Yeah, like it should be a good
Intro
matchup, but then
phase.
they just hit you offering score Fusion
Yeah.
Gate. Thanks for playing.
No.
Yeah, so that's one of the decks that you guys disliked. But I think, well, personally speaking, because I don't follow a lot, but I was surprised to see Luna Light doing pretty good. One of you guys can mention more about that?
So Lunalight is also kind of like Dragonity. It just lives off of fear. You're afraid to push versus them because they have all those sand traps, and then they just hit you with like the fusion, the cat dancer, put your monster to 0, double attack. That's 4k damage. Also, like on paper, your Karakuri matchup is really strong because Saber Dancer can't be targeted and it has 3k attack. So if you put out the cat dancer, Saber Dancer, then they have no out in the deck.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. But what about the invoked as well? The invoked variant, was that popular, or was just the pure Luna Light?
Oh yeah, that deck actually got second or first place global, depends on what happens to the campaign. Grucius used that. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Like Alistair, you can make Direwolf with it. So and then the 1000 push you can do on your Lunalight fusions, so you have an easier time OTKing. I think that's pretty cool.
The Japanese guy who got top 8 or top 9 is probably Lunalight as well, and he didn't play Invoke. He played more hand traps, like not just Kuribo, but also that thing which people play in a Kana deck, Master of Destiny. Like,
Temperance.
yeah, exactly. And Temperance was actually sometimes doing better than just Kuribo.
Yeah, it's just scary that because your monster's left in attack, so they can do the cat dancer OTK.
Exactly, and that was okay. It was a problem for my deck because I played Invoked. I always had to play really, really defensive with at least one back row, so I don't get easily OTK'd. Or one other thing I could do is summon Kaliga and then do something in combination with Kaliga. Because if I do Kaliga,
Oh yeah, makes sense.
then I can actually negate.
They can only do either. They can either put you to 0 or do the double attack. They can't do both.
Yeah, exactly.
So a lot of rogue decks that we've seen having success over these past 3 days. But what would you think about a potential banlist prediction? As far as not only the top decks are concerned, but also the more roguish decks.
I think what? There, go
I
ahead.
think Shira must be hit.
Yes.
Is it because
the
it's
deck is.
too
I mean,
stale?
the deck is here. No, the deck is here. I don't know, like a year now. it's been here for a year. I think it's here for too long, and new decks can't really compete with a deck like that. It has a powerful synchros. Yeah,
I
Shira
think
with
I think the main engine is here that the engine is the main problem is that the engine is so small. Like you're not playing a lot of monsters, your combos in the extra deck, so you can just play like 5-6 Shira monsters and you have a few starters like Kozuki and everything is in your extra deck and then you just slap like 12 traps into it. And that's something that can be viable for a long time. Like you see Control Shira being a thing for 1 year now. I think if they're not able to power creep it, this time they need to limit some of the extra deck monsters, like the level 8
Yeah.
or the level 10.
yeah,
Otherwise,
Solitaire.
I think the level 8 is really generate because they just hit you for, if you have anything in attack, they just hit you with like 6k over it, and that in a 4k life points game is just pretty unfair.
yeah, that's true. Like, I think if they would hit, for example, Solitaire, or if they hit the level 3 tuner or level 2 tuner again, then people just play other cards. Then they play like triple Gozuki and triple Zombie Skull or so. Here, Samurai Skull. And then they have other starters. But the real problem is kind of the extra deck. And I think what most people would agree on, especially after KC Cup, that cards like Tronate has to go. Every time on the first day you have so many sec decks like Dragonity, like Hero. I don't know. Nobody enjoys it. Starting with a decent board, having your control set up, and then you just get a Tronate OTK.
Yeah, especially with E-Saber gone.
I don't think they're gonna ban it, but
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
hope.
like. Oh no, sorry, Hazy. You can continue. Sorry,
No, I just wanted to say that I don't think they're gonna ban Tronate, but let's see.
Yeah, I don't think they will ban it, but it's just like some things that should happen. Like Purgatorio should probably get banned, but that will never happen.
I hope they do something though to the invoked engine. Maybe they can limit Purgatory or something.
Yeah, I
They
think
could
Purgatorio
limit
should
3
be-
invocation too.
or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Merchant is probably gonna get a hit. The deck did again really well.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe they could remove Magellanica from the ban list and put Purgatorio to 2 or Cocytus to 3 with Alistair to 3 so that they wouldn't have access to Cocytus in case, even though it wasn't a big deal this KC Cup, but still it's an annoying card.
It was a big deal if you played Desperado. Like that deck just has no out.
Yeah, it was a big deal in that case.
Also, I think Crystron needs to be hit again because
Yeah,
the deck is here for a year and it's still super powerful. It benefits from the new extra deck spot, and it's just too good.
Yeah, I feel like
Maybe
they
they
just
can keep a consistency card in Scrap Recycler, maybe. Could be
yeah,
an
that would
option.
also hit Desperado, so that would be the neat middle ground.
Yeah, but I have to just say something. I'm not even a fan of like putting really a lot and go back to like the old Dino meta. I don't like to do something like that because why for example I don't want to nerf something like Christian, because this deck or those decks is saying like good people like can win, because this is kind of a deck which needs a brain to handle. And yes, I just don't want cards those immediately go off. I want even cards going back into the game. Like for example, Ixchel. Put Ixchel back to 3, because right now we have even DD Crow, which can handle with Dark Lords and something like that. They should not just nerf something. They even should have something. Okay, what we can put back, because we need a kind of way where we have to have the power creep. For example, cards like Tronate, okay, they have to be gone or something like that. But broken cards, for example, for me, I want to have that Clash back. I really like to play with Clash, and is not even that sacky, but it needs in some specific way it can be really broken. But I really want those cards back. even cards like Four Hires or like the Amazon, I want to have them back in the meta, because it's a time right now we have the CCs, we have all the stuff to handle with those, because I see the Amazon trap as well as like the Sea Stores attack, some similar way. And if Konami wants to do it, because it would be a good management from Konami, if they give us back the Dark Lord, it would be say like, okay, the people has to go back to the Dark Lord box. That's the first option, and the second option is they have to go to the DD Crow box, because they have to have it because of Dark Lords or something like that. But I just not a fan of just hitting something. I won't even have to see some power creep going on. And yes, this is what I like. And if we're coming and say, for example, Sack decks, I don't like Sack decks. For example, Karakuri. If I would say, I would put Ninishi and Merchant both to limit to 3, because that would be really good. Maybe you can play 2 Merchant, one Ninishi or something like that without True Nate. Yes, something like those I can see. Maybe Core or something like that to 2. Even
agreed.
with maybe the deck, but I'm not a fan of Saki decks. I really like to enjoy those good decks like Christian. When C3 is there, if they touch C3 and put them to 2, that means officially the deck is done. This can't be competed in any tourneys anymore. If I want that they survive with these decks, and yeah.
I think what people are talking about in the chat is actually a good suggestion. If Clash is coming back, if say limit 3 Clash, for example, that could be a good idea for a more healthy metagame.
Even I saw that guy that says, for example, Dojo. If this would come true, I would really happy about that. I know it's kind of risky maybe for Konami, even with Full Hire, because we know back in the day how it was Full Hire, the T0 format. But
Never again.
never again, yes. But right now you have to see like and see if it would be that broken or not. I don't know. That's the thing of Konami. Konami must do their job. But if I would give a suggestion, not nerf something like that and give us nothing, because the last past months we got really nothing. All what we got, like witchcraft and stuff, is already got nerfed. And okay, Karakuri is still there, but I don't want to be like in the meta where like just sack decks are winning. It's not fun. I want really like decks like even Ritual Beast can be really nice, because this needs brain as well. Christian as well, and yeah, and maybe 6M. 6M I really like as well. Was a nice deck. But yeah.
If I would say something about Cyber Dragons, I would even hit Fusion Gate. That is, in my opinion, more of the problem. Cards like Core are really strong, of course, and people get annoyed if they see a Core every turn. If you would semi-limit Fusion Gate, I don't know. For example, myself, I wouldn't have any problems with playing 2 Overflow and 0 Fusion Gate, because even though I really love the deck, I'm not a big fan of Fusion Gate either.
Yeah, Fusion Gate is super sucky as well. Like, it's a card that can beat any board basically if you have the right setup with multiple.
I don't think they're gonna semi-limit Ultra for a main box.
It's unlikely.
Limit 3 maybe, but
I hope they don't limit 3 anything, because if you look at the top performing decks, they didn't even use Cosmic, so it just wouldn't do anything. ACT just used no Cosmics.
Yeah, that's true. Limit 3 is not gonna do a lot as well. If for example the limit 3 Core or something, it's not gonna change anything.
And what about the skills?
Oh, this is a good question. Which skill is right now impressive?
Yeah, it's the first of a question if Restart needs even to get nerfed more. It even got nerfed already, but like Karakuri is still mainly playing Restart for huge consistency.
So what I think
it's to be nerfed. Sorry, Sniffer. So I'll just say this and I'll let you continue. And I don't think Restart needs to be touched. I think it's fine as it is, because it just limits the amount of decks that can play it basically. But I think they have to touch Karakuri. That's all. Sorry, Sniffers, go on.
Yeah, so What I think would be interesting if you just remove like all the restart nerfs it has right now and just put if you use restart, you only draw 3 cards. I think that would be cool because then it's like if you go first and you restart your hand, you have a lower chance to open the combo. So maybe it's not as oppressive. I don't know if that's a good hit, but I think it would be interesting. Also, I think maybe D-Draw would need a hit. It's just makes a lot of degenerate decks playable.
Yeah, there's a lot of fixes in the chat that people suggested. Like Z said that Destiny Draw is too sacky with hand traps. I think we can all agree that Destiny Draw could make bad decks way better. Not only because they can just draw into whatever combo piece they need, but they can also draw into just something totally unexpected. Like I don't think you guys haven't had this experience where they just Destiny draw into a Drawny Mirror Force or something like that.
Yeah, D-Draw is just dangerous. You never know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one
And
fix,
it only
as they
had
said.
been.
Sorry, go on.
It only had been hit. It only had been hit once, I think.
It depends if you count the one where the deck order doesn't change. And that was degenerate, where just people sit there for a minute and just write down their entire deck.
Yeah, and you could see the order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Well, that made Daisy like tier 0 basically at that point.
Yeah, so we did go over some decks that could require a hit. We did go through some skills that would require a hit, but Rod did mention something pretty nice earlier. What if there was a deck that would have had a card unbanned or unlimited? What would you guys like to see brought back into the meta?
Well, Dark Lords will always have a soft spot in my heart because it's got me my first gold icon, and I did really well with it in the past, so I would really like to see that deck unnerfed.
Yeah, not full power, but Ixchel, for example, should come back then with the trap and maybe contact back both to 2. So that would be like really nice. Full power Dagger would be too strong. Like I think this was like the best deck in history of Duel Links because it has like everything, negating without any targeting, big beaters. It was absolutely really strong. But Konami should even do and try something out. They not should hit something. They should even to make the game really enjoyable. Because, for example, Clash was one of the cards that I really enjoyed to play a lot. Not because it was strong or something like that. It was really strong, but I mean, like, good player knows really how to play with Clash. Back in the day with 6M and stuff was really nice, and I want to have those cards back. Because right now, if you see like a game, it's not playing who plays better the game, who wins at the most time. Right now, it's like, okay, I open the good hand, you open the bad hand, and then, yes, it's already decided turn 1, who is winning or who is losing. But with Clash and stuff, this gives you some turns where you can draw your cards and winning even the game, which is really likely and really good. So I really want to have like those cards back in the game, which makes ensure that the better player wins.
I hope that they unnerf partially Witchcrafters instead, because I think they were too harsh at this point, and yeah, it's a very skillful deck that it didn't need this hard of it, this many hits in a row. It only stayed in the meta for 1 month. Like, I feel that they should touch it again and maybe do some changes in how the semi-limits are made.
Yeah, I see it exactly your point, Tenma. It was exactly like Thunder Dragons. They hit the deck too fast. Like, it was really nice to play those decks. Those combo decks was really nice to play. But you see, Konami did not a good job with that, because like just a KC Cup, like a really short time about that, and then afterwards they hit really hard the Thunder Dragons. Which was even really expensive, by the way. So
Yeah.
It was not nice from them, but I think like if Konami is listening to the community, and I think they will, then I think they're giving us those cards for sure.
I
Another
agree.
thing about limiting clash or doing something to clash is also that it will make the back row decks less oppressive because you can play around back row way easier than anything else when with clash.
Yeah,
Which is-
Floodgate. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Floodgate, like clogging your field, I think is pretty degen in a game with only 3 monster zones. So having a clash there just so you don't get clogged is really nice.
And you have to use it like skillfully. It's not like lands that you can just dodge the floodgate. Like you have to make some preparation to use clash if you expect a floodgate from your opponent. So like that would improve generally, I think, the game state for sure.
And if they looking like right now, if they're looking and putting like clash and limiting clash for the future, what take cards they want to give us, then they like really like limiting on based on what we get, because then I don't think that we can get every time Wing Blast or Compulsory Device or something like that in the game, because if they think clash is already too broken in the game, what do they think about other tech cards in the game? This is like, that's why I want to have like those cards in the game. It ensures that the play goes longer, ensure maybe that the better player wins, because it can grind out games a bit longer. So I think they should definitely do that.
That's a really good point, actually, with Clash not only being to be used in a more skillful way, but also limiting or preventing other cards from coming into the game. As you said, compulsory is it's pretty dumb of a card. Just target any monster, return it to hand. Wow, skillful. But what about some exceeds monster, right? Because you would use Clash in a skillful way, so to say, to dodge a floodgate, for example. But it can open up possibilities to unclog yourself, also using exceeds monster. So like you can banish the level 4, and then next turn you can still have the level 4 and go into a monster. Usually you would not have that possibility with synchros, because by the time we had really good synchro decks, Flash was already limited. We have already seen how 6 Samurais really used that card to its full potential. But in the meantime, we also got Shushula, which helps greatly unclogging some decks. So what do you guys think about future potential exceeds monsters, so to say?
Like which ones we could get in the future?
In the near future, yes. So like we haven't gotten a lot of really good exceeds monsters. So the thing is, you cannot really build your deck around it like you would do with synchros, but you can include them in almost every single deck that can afford running them. So do you expect something really, really good to come out in the near future, or a bit later in the next year?
Personally, I think it will stay like this, that we just get more toolbox cards. Like number 101 Silent Honor Arc, I think would be pretty cool. Castell would be pretty cool. Like they're just really good generically. They're not broken cards, but you will still put them in your deck just so you have the options to always access them.
Yeah, that's the thing with the exit monsters. It's just the option to have an out, like how Diamond Direwolf is used currently, just to have an out with popping a back row. And for example, if you chain the Ballista Squad, you get rid of another back row, and just goes off really well from there. If there's anything else that you guys would like to add, not only about the new box or whatever, also ban list, just anything about KC, just before we close out with the Q&A.
Yeah, I mean, what I just have to add is like even Konami is maybe don't give us the really good exceeds right now. For example, the last box what we got was like the Evil Swarm box, which was like the trash box. But if you see like one card, for example, Ophium would be in the box. The box would be hyped really hard because then the deck would be playable. We had Ophion in there, but the thing is, Konami is going. Maybe it's strategic. I don't know, but they're going really slow on what we're getting, or like really fast. One of those options because um, the missing pieces are always there. They did it same with Dark Lord. Dark Lord didn't have first the banishment. When we got the card, it was really nice. I hope Konami is doing this, and I hope really soon because I think if I listen to the community, they are kind of sick right now of the meta because the meta is like since over 1 year, and they really want to have something new. They want just a shift and new decks, new play style and something like that. I hope that we have it soon, and even like the era of Exceed will become good, but I don't think it will become right now. The community I think don't want to have it. The mainly point what we as a community wants to have right now is that the meta is changing and that we're getting new cards, and the cards that are not good or Seki right now, like True Nate, what we mentioned earlier, are gone. Like something like that. If this is happening first, that the meta is changing drastically, not like slightly drastically, then the community I think will be fine with this. And what happened afterwards, it's time we will see afterwards. But right now, just the meta needs to change.
I don't entirely agree with that, actually. I think you're right, the meta needs to change. But I think what also needs to change is Konami just always making decks in 2 boxes. Like, imagine if we get Evil Swarm now in another main box and it's an ultra rare. Then you need to get the old main box, get the 3 ultra rares, and then you need to go in a new main box. And it just makes everything so much more expensive. And I really don't like that because they have been doing that like for the past year all the time. And I think it's pretty annoying.
Yeah,
you need the 3 Alistar Purga trio. It's from different boxes.
I mean, I can understand. Of course, I can understand that because the most of the player may be students or going to school or something like that. But just see this in the view of point. If you would be Konami, if you Konami, or if I would be Konami, I would exactly do the same what Konami doing because they want to make like the profit out of that. And people, they have, if they want to go into boxes, they will go into the boxes. And you see like a lot of players will go into those boxes and they want to make the profit out of that. So we say like, why not getting like the players like dig into 4 boxes or something like that? Because if you see like the staples, Exceeds and something like that, or Zintra monsters, you have to always go like back to all the boxes and something like that. So I know, I really wish they would do it for students and something like that because we know how much it costs. But if I would be Konami, I would the same as Konami doing right now.
Yeah, I think it would be nice just to have like an alternative because usually there's always the cheap deck, which maybe isn't the best deck, but at least you have something that you can play.
Yes.
So would that be all before a potential Q&A with the chat? Or do you guys have any other thoughts about the whole Teamers talks of this week?
I would think of what Dr. Robotnik is thinking about that. What do you think, Dr. Robotnik?
Like about the whole thing we were talking about right now.
Yeah, what do you wish? What you kind of change of the meta, the cards you like to see, Exceeds kind of see what you want to see?
I would like to see some maybe OP Exceeds, or which some people might call OP. But I actually think that cards like Abyss Dweller or Exit might not even be that OP, referring to the whole meta right now. And I do think that even a card like Exit Knight might be good in terms of your opponent can simply overextend in his first turn and set 3 back row and summon 3 monsters. He has always to be afraid from an Exit Knight in combination with a lance. And I would like that you can simply do your whole combo turn 1, and then your opponent just says, yeah, okay, here's scoop.
Yes.
And one other thing is, I think we talked about that much earlier. I'm not absolutely a fan about just nerfing every deck, because if we nerf every deck right now, we have a meta of Hero, Black Wings, Drake Unity. Does anyone want a meta like that? I don't think so.
Yes.
Because the actual meta decks are control decks most likely. Control decks with a stacky element. But if we do get rid out of all these control decks, we are left to Drake Unity, we are left to Lunar Light, we are left to Black Wings, like everything which was strong before these kind of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they like with hitting everything, like actually everything, we have to hit Lunar Light too if they want to make like real big Banlist. Just so we get those cycled active the way. Yeah, Dragoonity also.
Because the meta would be really, really bad in that case. And it wouldn't lead to player having more fun. Probably they are even more mad about that. And I mean, just see the other decks, like if Onomata is coming, Onomata is also just a stupid OTK deck.
That's true, yeah.
And I don't know about the fish deck. The fish deck might be more control-like. Or is it actually?
I think they're using traps, so that's immediately like it can't be that OTK focused.
Yeah, it's impossible to OTK basically. Like,
oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear at least.
Yeah, it's impossible. You need Trunade and a very specific combo of cards in hand. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, okay, so you won't play that on OTK.
Yeah, like mainly what you do is that Groudile Dragon with 3k that can nuke the board. I even saw some versions playing Trunade, but normally not.
Yeah, because it's difficult to like keep the monster alive if you play Trunade as well. Like, you need the traps to make them stay and float, and so I don't know. At the moment, it's not that good.
Yeah. I think it would be actually healthy for the meta if Witchcrafters are coming back, because they added, even though it's not a trap related deck, they added a control element to the meta, and I think it was kinda slower than it is right now, and I think Konami killed the deck a bit too fast.
But what's about maybe like a new deck which is slightly stronger than the current meta and not just slightly worse than the current meta? Like, I mean, you don't need to release Ultimate Conductor, Tyranno, and Oribaptor in one thing, but I mean, you can still release something.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I think. Yes, say it, Drizzels.
Yeah, I think especially at the end of the year with the main box, at the end of December, and then having a new selection box in January, we're gonna see hopefully a meta wipe. I'm not saying it's gonna be a good idea putting like cards like OCT or Grapher so as the main box, as the selection box ultra rare, but I fear it's gonna happen basically the same what was last year with Stratos and Livier, who were selection box cards.
The thing is, right now, what's your definition like of stronger? Because for me, if I say for personal, I just want to have decks that are consistently open good for that. Not like, okay, I'm just gambling, even I have it and win, or I just click the scoop button over there. I just want a deck that is like really consistent and where you can feel good that you can even win maybe the mirror and something like that, where you don't think, oh, please don't let me pick. This is my first thing right now, because even I play any tournament right now, I pray first, please don't let me break. This is my first thing of doing this.
In that case, I would say we should slightly get a searcher or indirect searcher like reinforcement of the army, or give us decks like Shadow or Burning Abyss with Mathematician or Armageddon Knight. So you have a consistency, but not absolutely OP decks. Like, depending on whatever cards we get from Shadow. But I think they can release Shadow in a way so it is an OP, but it can actually beat the meta or current meta.
Mhm.
So maybe construct is too much, but they can give us the other fusions like Winder, the Earth guy, for example.
Yeah, but then you have already the next invoked splash. Do you really want to play another 6 months invoked Shadow or something?
I mean, Invoked will surely get another hit after that case recap.
Let's hope so.
Mm.
I mean, aren't at least 2 or 3 Invoke player in top 10? It's me, it's Gift, it's the Cheetah guy.
Rufus?
Gruus is played it as well, yeah, so we're already on 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I think the deck will get a hit.
I hope sooner than later, because after you play competitive in KC Cups and stuff, you're feeling like really done.
Yeah.
That really done. You really don't have any motivations. You need something new, and yes, with the implementing in the game, it really takes even a long time and stuff. So I really hope that they're gonna do something rapidly, that we all happy with this. But yeah, I think that's what we can say about the Banlist, or what we should have get from that back, and what we have to put on them. I think that should be it.
Yeah, I think I kinda agree on that part.
Anything else that you guys would like to add?
I think we can go to the Q&A thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone in the chat has any question that could ask one of the 6 top KC players, ask away, and we will figure it out. I did see someone in the chat claim the free Timor subscription. If you guys are not familiar with how you get said free Timor subscription, whenever you watch any content from this channel, the main channel of Duel Links Timors, you get channel points, and with said channel points, with 54k of them, so 54,000, you get to unlock a free subscription. With 99,000, you get to unlock a Discord Nitro. So the more you watch, the more points you get, and you get free rewards. If you guys have any questions in the chat,
So chat, now it's your turn. What do you want to ask? Sniffers.
Wow, Sniffles. Wow.
ACT will always be better than you. Okay, nice.
It's the truth.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that I'm mentally and I'm not able to play 860 games. I played 500 and I legit feel like shit. I slept like 12 hours after the KC Cup was over, and I don't know, playing like I slept maybe 20 hours the KC Cup and played 50 of them, and it was super exhausting. But playing nearly double the amount of those games is just beyond crazy.
Yeah, that's true actually. I did get accused of cheating. And Sun and Gift got too because of our win rates. They said they were too high. I have screenshots of some of my games, so I can prove that I didn't use
58% win rate is too high. Okay.
The good thing about Sniffers is calm down, I think, with his game. That's why he played like really less games and was really good. I think he's good for like the future KC Cup or the RIQ, because if he just keep like playing like that with this win percentage, I see really positive for him in the RIQ especially, and then he should make it to Worlds. So I think that's the good thing what he is doing, because I saw like other players who played the same decks, but they had like 400 games or 300 games, and not even had the same points as Sniffers. So it's like Sniffers is doing this part like really good, even with Witchcrafter. He played the deck good, and yes, we saw like that at the win percentage. If you just keep increasing like the games and something like that, and stay with the win percentage, then of course he has like big chance to qualify for Worlds.
That's the dream, yeah.
Definitely agreed. We do have some questions from the chat, starting with maybe Turkish. Do you want to see new XC's good cards be like Six Samurai, or what kind of effect you want to see? Tying in with what we mentioned earlier.
Is he asking like, do you want to
For
see?
specifically decks or specifically XYZs for just specific decks or generic on as well?
I think he may have meant something like not have a really good just a synchro deck, right? We haven't had a really good synchro deck like Six Samurai was until like 6 months deep into the new world. So he's asking maybe if we can expect just another splash of really good Exceeds monsters, just like how Six Samurai made waves.
Actually, that might be Burning Abyss or Phantom Knights, maybe. These are
cool.
I could think of in Duel Links being implemented, and which are not too OP. I think Fire would be too late, which that would probably do anything in the meta right now. So yeah, I guess Burning Abyss and Phantom Knight might be the most realistic one, which can also compete in the meta.
Sounds good. Let's move on to the next question then from Lunz. Do you guys think the DP cap between the first place, the cheater, made top 10 players stop playing? Do you feel like the results would have been different without the DP gap in the day 3?
Yeah, so that's always the worst thing about cheaters. Like, even if they get banned, it still just completely affects the competition because we don't know. Like, would they have maybe kept playing because they felt they still had a chance if there was no cheater? Because seeing someone at 104k, I think Gift partially gave up because of that, because he said there's no way I can reach this dude at 104k. So, like, yeah, they get banned, and you can say, okay, well, it's good they're not on leaderboards, but it still just completely affects the integrity of the competition.
It was same like for Grush's. Grush's was at 95k. If we would known there would be a cheater, he kept stop playing, but he would tilted down back to 91k. Just imagine he'd not tilted to 91, he tilted like back to 80, 84, and then see like the first guy was a cheater, and then he was like 4th place, and then Give goes like towards or something like that. It would be really hard, and of course, if I would be at this position, I would be actually pissed because this should not happen, and I don't see them points why people should doing this. Like, do they get something out of that? Do they make profit? Do they get like any profits from the community? I don't see any points why they should like waste the times of them, make people like angry because you have the preparation about the KC Cup, you want to test, you want to do something, and then it get messed up because there's some cheaters and you try hard. And I don't know, the Anki guy that dropped back to 65k, I don't know if he would have stopped or something like that because of the first player. It's hard to say, but there's always the chance that would happen, the scenario, and yeah, I was not happy with that.
Grush has dropped to 86k actually because he tried to catch the first place in the last hour and he dropped down a lot. So like that was really dangerous. But he said he made it back up to 91.
Okay.
But yeah, like just what can happen?
I maybe add something. Crucial's tried it at least, but imagine like player like Sun, they didn't even play. But if they were closer to that, they might have been played as well. So it's hard to say what would have really been happening.
Yeah, I mean the same goes kind of for Raw.
I was at 84k. Okay, I generally don't play for first place because of reasons. But if I actually would have tried it, and I was at 84k, and I see that the second place or actually first place is at 90, I might have tried it.
Yeah, but like the same goes kind of for Raw, who ended 14th with 71k, and was like under the impression like top 10 is 10k away. If you count the 3 cheaters out, maybe top 10 is only 2 or 3k away, and you have like the 10th place with 74k. and then you're
Yeah.
11, and you feel like, okay, like top 10 global was 3k away. That's like three games I can win in like 10 minutes, and I didn't even play it last hour. I can understand why you're pissed.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like
that's
for me, it's fine. For me, it's fine because my aim was not gold icon, even if gold icon looks nice. It was not that. For me, it's most likely first place, and the second option is like get the preparation done for the RIQ. I knew that Grucius was far away, was 95, and the other guy was like far away. It was like 20 more K. I was not possible because you have to have a good weekend. You have to even have a good Saturday to achieve that. And it was not like that. But for me, right now, okay, it can be a bit true for if it would be another player. But I think just for the first player, because all the work from the weekend is over there, and then losing because of that, it's not funny. And I hope the players who done like the cheating stuff are watching right now the stream and see like this is really not funny what they doing and something like that, and hope they're not doing this on the next time, because we are a community together, and the best player in the end should go to Worlds. They should go to Worlds, and Grucius totally deserve to go to Worlds. And yes.
Yeah, for sure. KC Cup is all about having the first player being rewarded, as you guys know with the rewards. It's only the first player getting the invite, and that's what matters the most about the KC, right? Only the best player proving that he's the best, not a supposed cheater proving that he can use tools to get first and get a competitive advantage through cheats. As for the last question, from what I've seen in the chat, if you guys don't have anything else to add.
I have maybe, because I see Andy Tsang in the chat. Did Andy Tsang play? Does somebody know? Is that
Yeah, he didn't play this time.
4 games per day or something like
Oh.
this.
Yeah,
And
he did play a bit with Desperado because he likes gambling, and that's the gamble deck.
Only
Andy.
past
No,
the
I
first 3 coin flips.
Yeah, Andy is maybe the only person then who likes head judging.
Yeah, you said that actually.
Get him out of here then.
I mean, what Ohimi did on day 3, he played triple head judging in Chiranui, and I was like, what the fuck?
All right, then. The last question from what I've seen. We did talk about the banning of H-Runade earlier, but how does a Limit 3 Floodgate or Canadia sound like?
Useless.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm not even sure if those cards are even amazingly played. Floodgate to a certain extent. Canadia is pretty dead in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't.
Why you didn't get 5th in KC Cup? ACT played Canadian in Cyber Dragon.
Yes, Canadia was clearly the reason for that. Let's
Yes.
ban Canadia.
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, right now they have to, if they make right now the decision of putting floodgates to the bandits or Canadia, which they should have give us. They're like not that strong, and you have to deal even some way with maybe Cocytus if the Cocytus is a thing in the meta. But for the future, like this is some small cards. Like I want to have like good cards like compulsory device or Wingblast or something like that. Then we can talk about some cards like those. But if we come to Canadia and Floodgate, these are just small cards which they should not.
Grenada is actually a good card. Also, in my opinion, it's one of the traps. I would say it's okay. Like on maybe Finnish chain niveau.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, this is right now. I can totally agree. It's a good card, but I mean, if it base, like, if you see like what could come in the future, you would discuss about Canadia. I would not discuss about Canadia. I would discuss about really problems, because if they're just hitting, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with this. Even if Canada is a decent card, is not a broken where you say, "Oh no, please stop that card. This is so broken. This card right now."
Canada is for sure not broken.
Yeah.
Mm.
But TT, Floodgate is something else. I would say I would be fine with Torrential and Floodgate together because Floodgate is actually doing another job than TT. Floodgate is more about blocking the opponent than just destroying the board.
Oh, TT in the game. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think Floodgate is actually kind of regen. Like there's only 3 monster zone. If you just permanently clock one, that's I don't know.
That's the reason I would say it's a strong card. Like nothing comparable to Canada.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, we can easily get Mirror Force and Torrential. We have Treacherous Trap Hole, which is pretty much stronger than these cards with 20 cards. In my opinion, Treacherous is one of the strongest trap cards. We don't talk about cards like Solemn Judgment or Solemn Strike or whatever, but TT and Mirror Force aren't on the level of the Solemn Strike, in my opinion, or Solemn Judgment. And I would say it's kinda okay for a meta to bring Torrential Tribute, because we have actually decks who can spam the board, and if we have too many decks which can easily spam the board with a monster you can't even really out, you should have traps which can stop these scenarios, and not just traps. You are like, okay, I have 5 traps on hand, I can not out a single Ritual Beast monster with it because all 3 of these cards works, but I don't have any alternative to deal with that.
Yeah, sounds good. And I think that was the last legitimate question, because I don't know if I should be counting when do you guys think Dragon Maids will come out from Soup.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's all of the topics that we, or at least I, wanted to cover today. Any closing thoughts? Any shoutouts, maybe? If you guys have any, maybe we can start from top to bottom, starting with Drizzles.
Yeah, definitely shout out to all the people in the Casual Heroes Discord who spent with us, with here the most people in the voice, nearly 72 hours in the voice chat. Was really exhausting KC Cup, but with like always having 5 till 10 people in the voice chat, it was a lot of fun.
I have a big shout out to Grucius for finally going to Worlds. Hopefully, Konami confirms what we know, and yeah, good luck to him.
What about you,
Yeah.
Sam?
I have to shout out to Craig. To Craig, who cost me like 10k on the KC Cup because he confused me in some certain way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like that. So thanks, Craig. I hope you pay me back one day. Yes, but it was kind of fun. It was just not gonna lie.
What about you, Murphy? Any shoutouts?
I don't know, maybe Masarak for testing and our discussion during the KC Cup, and my team, Edo and Chris, for testing and 10 versus 10.
Sounds good, bro.
Yeah, for my side, because we actually skipped me.
And you skipped Raw, did Soon's shout out, and now Soon's gonna do Raw's.
Yeah, shoutouts for the team for sure, and also for Crucius to finally reach the Worlds, because he was trying so hard for every KC Cup, and he was like second place 3 times before that, so he finally deserved the invitation for the Worlds Championship.
For sure. And lastly, Sniffus?
I mean, I hope it is, because this survey is saying international competition. That sounds kinda scary. Whatever that means, international competition.
KCGT.2.
Please not. Please not. If it's a KCGT, please do it with another format, because Like, imagine winning a KC Cup, and now you can go into the KCGT with just one more win, but you are still playing in that stage 2 thing and not in the actually final stage. And I think winning KC Cup should be automatically be qualified for the last stage and not just for the top 100 stage. Because why would you grind a KC Cup for the first place if you can win the KC, or you can get top 100 in the KCGT, which is much easier than top 1 in KC Cup.
Yeah, well, I also want to give shoutouts to my team BNP, to my friends who helped me prepare and me up in the KC Cups. They're always great people to talk to. Like with Grucius, it just makes the KC Cup so much more fun if you have people that you can talk to and just vent to if it's not going well.
Sounds good. I also have to shout out you guys for being there and accepting the invitation. It was all like set up on the last few moments, but I'm glad we managed to have a great show today. I also have to shout out to the people watching, the people that keep supporting Team Wars, and yeah, that's pretty much all from me. Any other closing thoughts, or should we close?
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Everyone. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you as well for
Thank you.
joining. All right, let's
Goodbye, everybody.
host maybe Duel Links Entertainment. All right, thank you everyone for watching, and see you next week with another Team Wars talk, and this week for obviously week 9. See ya.
See ya.
See you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
Goodbye.